What's up, guys? So as you guys might know, because I said in a previous video, I didn't watch the Sony Press Conference live. But I did see it yesterday. I saw the full 2 hours. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to talk about what they mentioned and my thoughts on it. So they said that the PS4 is going to be released sometime this holiday season. So that means like beginning November. It's possibly going to be released. I'm thinking maybe December. The first thing I want to say, because a lot of people were thinking, like, they were trash talking the PS4 because there had been another rumor earlier this month, I believe. People saying that the PS4 was going to block used games. I don't know where this came from, but people were like dead set. They were like, oh my god, the PS4 is going to block used games, and I think they were saying about the 720 as well. They were that people were saying that next gen consoles were going to move away from the whole used games thing. Sony Worldwide Studios has confirmed that the PS4 will not block used games, and that's cool. But there's kind of like a concern there as well, where it's just like, I'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let me go into the press conference, what was revealed. A lot of people were criticizing the press conference and Sony because they were saying that, oh, they barely even showed anything, and like they didn't even show the console, and they barely showed any cool games and all this stuff, and all they talked were specs, and I didn't understand it and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what are you gonna expect? I mean, do you really think that Sony would come out guns blazing, showing you the console, showing you the best games they've got in store and everything, and it's like, oh my freaking god, what were they going to show us in E3? There was going to be nothing because they had already shown it. It was going to be repeat. And usually Sony's press conference in E3 rocks. Usually their press conferences are the best. Last year, the best press conference was by far Sony. They've got to hold the best stuff that they've got for E3. That's why they didn't announce any of this stuff. That's why they didn't show the console. The console's going to be there for E3. I mean, one of the guys said in the press conference, be excited for E3. So they're holding their stuff back. They're holding their cards back. Although they did show their hand already. The reason for this press conference, they wanted to jump on the boat first, like for the next gen consoles. I mean, Nintendo did it last year, but when it comes to next gen consoles, we really think of Microsoft and Sony. So this year, Sony was like, okay, let's do it now. Let's beat Microsoft to it. And let's just get people pumped for it and then show them everything that we've got in E3. So they think that by doing this, it's going to get them ahead of the game, like ahead of Microsoft. But I mean, as much as I understand that on Sony's part, I'm just like, they already showed their hand. Now Microsoft is like, they know what is in store for the PS4, especially when it comes to the specs, which is probably the most important thing for next gen consoles. Now Microsoft is like, ooh, they know what the PS4 is going to be capable of, and they're going to try to match it. I mean, it's probably too late now to even add more to it. I mean, they probably can, but I don't think they could do so much to it, like too big of a thing. Because it's already so short in time. I mean, maybe they could, but I don't know. But yeah, Microsoft now knows what PS4 has and what Sony has in their bag, and Microsoft is just like, ooh. I think Sony maybe wanted to get people excited about the PS4 first, but I mean, I don't know about you guys, but hearing about the PS4 was exciting, but it was also like, what is Microsoft going to do? Like, it really, really makes me curious about Microsoft, because now that we know about the PS4 in E3, I really want to know more about the PS4, but I'm looking forward to Microsoft's press conference because I really want to know what the Xbox 720, if that's even what they're going to call it, what that is going to do to compare in comparison or to defer from the PS4. But they're holding their best cards for E3 for sure. So I think this E3 is going to be really interesting because we've got next-gen consoles and the next generation games as well. So it's going to be a pretty crazy E3. Very different, I think. It's pretty much a turn for gamers, for games. Like it's the next generation of games. Like, and looking at the specs of the PS4. Now the whole spec talk, I have no clue what any of that meant, especially when that one guy was talking about the DualShock, like when he's talking about the controller and the specs of the PS4. I was like, whew. But it sounds cool. I mean, it does have a CPU and it does have a CPU and GPU, more like a computer than a console, I guess. I think the thing that kind of worries me the most in hearing about all this is everything that I heard. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it makes me think that the PS4 is going to be discless. Like, it's going to be no CDs. It's going to be, like, downloadable only. And, I mean, it kind of makes sense with everything that they're trying to do. Like, there's no load time and all this stuff. It's like crazy graphics and you could like download in the background and you could do all these things. Like everything that they were talking about, it's like they probably don't have to deal with discs. They probably don't have to deal with CDs because that slows you down. That slows the everything down. You know, you could always hear the CD going, it's reading it. So if it didn't have a CD, of course it was going to be faster. It would be like you plugging in a memory stick, right, to your computer. And it's like, boom, right there. Instead of having to put in a CD and waiting until the freaking computer reads it. Maybe it has the option of CD and the option of just downloading the game, like cloud gaming. But I don't know. That's one of my biggest concerns because it's going to be really weird. I prefer to have a physical copy of a game. I feel like, I don't know, that feeling of almost like feeling naked, you know, where you're just like, where you don't have something to hold on to, where it's just like floating there on the system. What if something ever happens to the system? I mean, of course you could always re-download it, I guess. But still, I don't know. I never used that whole cloud gaming and thing and all that. I don't know. I guess it's just custom and like routine and being used to it. I don't know. I'm kind of like, it's just a weird change. It's just gaming is taking such a crazy turn. It's following everything else. It's following every other piece of technology. And I mean, why wouldn't it? I've said it for years that gaming is going to take the route of touchscreen and motion sensor. And that's exactly what we're seeing more and more and more of. Like with the PS4. There's now a little touch screen on the DualShock, and it has like motion sensor on the camera. It comes with a camera, and it knows where your controller is, and the Move is now included in it. As cool as that technology is, I hate that it's becoming part of consoles. I really hope that this stuff isn't like shoved in your face. Like, here's a game, use it, because we've now got that technology on the console, so now you have to use it. Sometimes I just don't want to. Like, it's like, dude, why? Why do I have to use it? You know, it's like, no. I like when it's separate, like the Kinect, like the Move. I don't want it integrated in the system, you know? It's just like, because once it's integrated in the system, developers are like, yeah, everybody's got that technology. It's not like, oh, well, whoever has Kinect or whoever has Move. So they have specific games for that. And it's not like integrated in every game. It could be, like say Mass Effect 3, it had the whole like verbal thing if you had a Kinect. But if you didn't have a Kinect, you didn't have to worry about it. But now that it's integrated in it, it's just like, I think devs are going to start taking advantage of that technology. And now it's going to be like putting things in games where you would have to use that in some way. Like I said, I think it all comes down to not being used to it. Maybe it'll turn out to be something freaking awesome. I don't know, but I still don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm not made out of freaking money. So I'm not like, I'm gonna get the PS4 and the 720. Yeah, right. I'm waiting for Microsoft's press conference in E3 to see, to compare. I was thinking if I do get a PC, maybe that will just carry me over until the price of next-gen systems drops or something, where it's like, oh, well, I could stick with a PC and, have great graphics on there anyways. The PS4 just seems like it's big on networking with other people, like sharing your stuff and just like being more integrated socially. Which is totally fine. That's cool. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, the share button, like there's a share button on the DualShock where you just push the button and you could like share a video of your gameplay of like some epic moment or some of that where you're like, oh my God, people have to see this. Or a screen capture or something, which is fine with me. I was like, that I could even use that for my channel. Like, when I'm playing a game, like, oh my God, people's got to see this. I just push the share button and then just put it on my Facebook page or something like that. So you guys could see a clip of it. You could also stream your gameplay on Ustream, which also sounds pretty useful for, say, people with gaming channels. I don't know how it's going to work, if you could integrate your commentary or what, or if it's just the gameplay. But yeah, but then you guys could also interact. So that's kind of cool because you'd be pretty much live streaming, but the people watching you could be like, oh, let me help you out in this part, or let me send you a potion or whatever. And people could actually interact. And I think that would be, that's a cool feature, especially for people, I mean, for anybody that likes that, but especially for people, like, I wouldn't like that on my own. Like, if I didn't have a gaming channel, I'd be like, what? Why? I do have a gaming channel, and I do put out some Let's Plays and stuff, and I've always wanted to do live streaming of gameplay. So I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, if I could do that, if I can integrate it with the channel, that would be freaking awesome. Interacting with you guys. And they were saying how they want you to, like, not only have a username, but also tell your name and, have your name there. Kind of like Facebook. And I heard someone saying that was kind of weird, where it's like, I don't want to put my personal information on there. I don't think I would either, but I think it's not a requirement.
Well, now you're going to put your name on there, or else your PS4 is going to self-destruct. So choose.
I think they're just like trying to encourage people to do it, where it's like, if you want to, you don't have to, but we encourage it so they could be like a social community, kind of like Facebook. I think one of the most awesome features is that there's no load times. No load screens is just like, oh my God, it's a gamer's heaven right there. I really like also that you could update while it's off. That's so cool. I've always wanted that. Like, I'm like, man, why can't it just update? Like, not when I'm freaking gonna play a game. The other day, my younger brother comes in here and he's like, I want to play a game. And I was like, really? And I get all excited when he wants to play a game because I'm like, man, he stopped playing games for a while, like a long time ago. So I'm just like, yeah, dude, for sure. I was like, so you want to play the PS3? Starhawk's pretty good. So it's kind of his type of game, like shooters. He's going to play, and there's like so many updates. And he's just sitting there. He was so pissed because he had to sit through all these updates before he could play a game. And I'm like, oh my God. It's been such a long time since he played a game. He sits down to play and he has to sit there through an update after update after update. And I'm just like, it's also cool that you could start right where you left off. Like, if you turn it off and then you just turn it on, the game's like right there where you left off. That's cool too. I could just turn it off and not have it turned on, paused. I could just turn it off, go do whatever I was going to go do, come back, turn it on, and it's right there. I don't have to wait for the menu screen again. And it's like, well, I don't want to turn it off because then I have to like go into the damn menu and it takes forever and go into my save and who knows what. And it's like, oh freaking hell, I went into the wrong save. It's hard being a gamer. Another thing that I really liked was being able to play games or try them out before you actually purchase them, or play games while you're purchasing them. Like while you're uploading it, you could play a little bit, like you could already start playing. That's pretty cool. But yeah, they were saying how they want you to test the game out to see if you even want to buy it. So I guess they're going to be like free demos for every game or something like that. They want to do kind of what the Nintendo Wii U does with like, if you can't play on that on the TV, you could just play on the remote, like on the thing with on the I don't even know what the hell it's called, where with the screen on the Wii U. They want to do that with the Vita. So they said that they want to make all PlayStation games eventually playable on the Vita, which is kind of crazy. I was like, wow. They said that from PlayStation, from the first PlayStation through to PS4, they want all the titles available. And it's just like, that would be freaking cool. I mean, but not only available for the Vita, but also for the PS4, for the PS3. I mean, for the PS3, they're already releasing titles from the PS1, from the PS2, of course. That's gonna expand the Vita's life, like, a lot. And it kind of sucks that they don't release games that are specifically for the Vita. I don't know how PS4 games are going to look on the Vita, because PS4 graphics are really nice. They're really crisp, and it's like, dude, that's awesome. So I don't know how that's going to be integrated to the Vita. It's probably going to have some kind of limitations. I don't think it's going to look as great. It's interesting what they're doing. I mean, I probably wouldn't buy a PS Vita. One thing that was pretty interesting to me and to my older brother, he was like, oh my god. I was like, this faux. Like, I was like, dude, don't pretend like you like you're gonna get the freaking PS4. Yeah, faux show. His 360 is like a freaking paperweight. It's his dog's toy. He's all about the iPad and iPhone. He loves playing games on the iPhone and on the iPad and all that. So when we found out that the PS4 was going to have this PlayStation app where it could connect to smartphones and tablets and all that, he was excited. He was like, oh my god! But I'm kind of excited too, because I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously these apps can't cost a lot. They're gonna cost cheap, because that's what apps cost. Like, what, $5.99, $4.99, 99 cents. The iPhone, iPad, and Android devices act as a second screen. So you could view like your map, which is cool because I've always wanted something like that. Like where let's say I'm playing a game, like say Skyrim, and I'm just like, oh my god, you're walking through this huge wilderness, and every time you have to press pause, go into the map, press pause, go into the map, and then you go back, and then you're like, okay, wait, where was it? Was it left or right? Pause, go into the frickin' map again. So to have it on your side, like you just took out a map, and still play and look down at the map and keep looking down at the map, that's awesome. I don't know why, but I really like that idea. So this whole social gaming thing, and a lot of the capabilities of the PS4, especially when it comes to social networking and having having it download in the background while it's off and no loads and all that. A lot of it comes from the program from the company Gaikai that they're linking with Sony and Gaikai. I mean, you guys know that that's my style of game, man. Oh my god. Freaking Sword and Shield, Dragon, what?